So, Carroll Independent School District in North Texas just banned from its schools the book Pretty Perfect Kitty Corn by Shannon Hale and Lu Yen Pham. And you have to hear the reasoning behind it. At Texas Freedom to Read Project, we have been following this story for a while. The book was originally challenged because someone in the district thought it might cause gender confusion, given that it's a book about a male unicorn with purple hair, and to the great chagrin of this challenger, also eyelashes, which apparently boys are not supposed to have. Well, the challenge went to the School Library Advisory Committee, and the committee voted unanimously to remove the book. Why? Well, they argued it was because of this image. So in the book, the unicorn is getting his portrait painted and sits in some paint, gets paint on its butt, and that embarrasses him. But his friend Kitty Corn makes him feel okay about it. Sweet, right? That's it. That's the story. But here's how Carroll ISD's committee interpreted it. And let's listen in.
The transition, the point, the climax of the story is about that which provides the unicorn shame. And the conversation about acceptance and tolerance, etc., from the context of a young child reading it, the shame is illustrated by the painting of the genital region on both of these characters. That would lead me to question, why is that the region of choice to recognize a blemish or a change or a shameful scenario by which the entire book has a conversation of? In general, before I did that, just reading it and trying to pick out the themes and what the climax was and what the transition was and what the message was, my question to the authors would be, if I was a parent, and instead of going to these committees, I went straight to the author to ask them, why did we choose the painting of the genital region to highlight the source of shame?
I have to concur. I think that, to me, it skirts on gender ideology. It is very careful not to cross the line. It does skirt it. However, the use of the genitalia as an illustration is something that we would not allow in the classroom in any circumstances. So the child,
and it's counter to the norms that we establish for our children regarding genitalia, behavior in classroom. I think kind of get to where we're at.
Okay.
I think it's an attempt to present something very innocently that a kid would, perhaps think innocently, but it's a slippery slope because it is pointing directly to genitals and the potty top and drawing attention to the hiney was the word that it used over and over again. Yeah, that's concerning.
The theme, the enrichment, and the joy of reading these, beautiful colors, illustration, etc. The theme of tolerance and kindness and acceptance and self-awareness and pride and all those things. I think that only solidifies my decision because those are exceptional themes for young kids at that age. And I want them to see more and more of that. Where it lost me again was that the painting of the genitals was what we were transitioning as the shame and you should be accepting of yourself regardless. That was where
your tax dollars at work.